Hey everybody, it's Geekopolis here. So today I figured I would get back on track with doing actual videos, more structured. Still gonna be ranty, of course, because this is kind of how I do things around here. But I'm gonna try and stay more on topic and get less distracted by tangents and things. But we'll see how that goes. But enough of the prologue. Let's get actually into this. I wanted to talk about whom I believe to be the most wasted potential in terms of character in the sequel trilogy. So, I would have to go hands down Finn. Because if you give me, like, a synopsis of what his character was supposed to be, or like the cliff notes of the idea of his character for Force Awakens, it would say Stormtrooper betrays First Order. I almost said Empire there, but First Order, okay. And joins the Resistance, Rebels, same difference. There's a lot of pretty good and interesting story elements you can do there. They didn't really explore any of them. For instance, being an ex-trooper, you would think that he would be a very militaristic type character. After years of combat training and essentially brainwashing by the First Order, you'd think he'd have a pretty interesting story to tell. I mean, we've never really seen a defective soldier like that in the movies, and that could have been very interesting. Yes, there is examples of it in the expanded universe, legends, and other forms of lore that you can find things like that. But in the movies, it would have been the first, and it could have been very interesting. They don't, again, do anything with it. Instead of making him a very stoic, militaristic character that is about getting things done and is dealing with the struggles of being part of of essentially what is the bad guys in the story, these evil murderers who go around and just destroy planets and kill civilians and such. At least that's the narrative that we're being given, considering aside from what happens in Force Awakens with them destroying the planets and killing that village, we don't even really know what their whole deal is. I mean, we are assuming that, yes, they're the evil monster, tyrannous, dictator, fascist, whatever, that is gonna, oppress the galaxy and yada yada. But, I don't know. You see, this is, again, one of the issues that I have with the First Order in general. Finn is a part of them, but yet he has no allegiance to them. Doesn't really tell us anything about them, so we don't know what they're even all about. I get conquest, sure, but at least in the originals with the Empire, it was very clear what they were. They were the centralized power in the galaxy, barring the unknown regions, some select planets in the Outer Rim, and the Hutt regions. They were the singular force that kept everything running in the galaxy. So it was very easy to understand. What is the First Order? They came out of nowhere. This, again, also has the issue of what is the Republic? What did it do? Like, there's so much wrong with all of this, and it could have been easily explained and could have been interestingly told if we could have had more of Finn's perspective. Another misstep that I feel like they did is kind of making him this red herring for the Jedi that they're going to use. If they were going to do anything with him involving the Force, and they didn't want to make him the actual Jedi, you could have made him really a small bit Force sensitive, just like a little bit, enough to like do enhancements on normal abilities, like he can run a little faster, he's a little stronger, he can, his reflexes are a bit better than most people's, because he's a little Force sensitive, and make him be like almost like a super soldier in that way, something Something different that we haven't seen. Just make him a badass. Make him really cool. Don't make him this bumbling idiot. Or this useless side character that just kind of says things. So that's the only two things that he's really done. I mean, he's basically just exposition, and he has information he shouldn't know, and then they don't develop it further than that. All he was like, oh, he was a janitor. Okay, whatever. Alright. You take a great concept, and you just make him the janitor that also knows all of the information that needs to be known at the time it needs to be known, and he can also defeat, like, what rank is... I get Captain Phasma, but how high is that in the First Order? Because I don't really know. I mean, I get there's obviously General and Captain. I imagine there's, Admiral for ships and such, and I'm assuming there's commanders and lieutenants and sergeants and all. But we don't really see any of that, but that's not really the point. But anyways, beats Captain Phasma, At the very least, Captain, I don't, again, know how high that rank is in the First Order comparative to modern military terms. Still, it's a pretty decently high rank. Above a hell of a lot higher than a janitor. But still, he just beats her with no difficulty, really. I mean, whatever. It's stupid. But yeah, there's really nothing to his character that I would say is really deep. To me, he seems, maybe two-dimensional. But, I don't know. I just wish that they would have done more with him. And there was a lot they could have done. They could have made a very interesting character with him, and they didn't, which is a shame. The rest of the characters, say, Poe, Again, there's plenty you could have done with him. I'm not overly upset with that one, because to me, his whole appeal starts and ends with him being a pilot. You can absolutely expand on that pretty easily and effectively, I'm sure. But that one doesn't bother me as much because, okay, he's a pilot. We've seen pilots before. We know what they can do. With Finn, we've never really seen the defective soldier going to join the Resistance. There's so much they could have done, so much more with that. We've seen the loner from a desert planet becoming a Jedi with Rey. So, again, we've seen that before. That's why with those two of the three main characters here, don't bother me as much as Finn does, and I feel like that's why he's the most wasted potential, because he's the newest of the characters in terms of concepts, yet they make him the punchline half the time. Like, again, what did he do? He knows about the tracker, he does that thing with Canto Bite, doesn't do anything. In the first one, he kind of tells him how to turn off the shields to defeat the big Star Killer base. It's just, he does things that move the plot forward, yes, but again, you could just have like any character do this. Like, you can have a droid that captured and just get all the information out of it like that if you really wanted to. It doesn't really add anything to the story, especially in The Last Jedi, and that I feel is one of the mistakes, one of the many, many, many nearly uncountable mistakes that the sequels have made. I have very little hope for Rise of Skywalker, but maybe they'll get him right in that one. I mean, they won't. I've seen the leaks. They're not going to. But, well, yeah, no, it's Disney. I don't consider these canon anyway, so whatever. It doesn't really matter. It's a shame to see such wasted potential of what could have been an actually compelling story, and it's just been squandered so haphazardly. But whatever. What are you gonna do? With that being said, I would like to know what all of you people think. Was Finn the character with the most potential that was squandered? And do you if you disagree, tell me why, and who do you think should have or could have been even more interesting and intriguing as a character than Finn. The only other character I can think of is Kylo. So um, let me know in the comments below how much you think, and please do consider subscribing. Thank you, Geekopolis.